Hello, it is iYikKam time again. So I often met Wing Chuners who told me how successful they are in their internal Wing Chun training, how they can sense Qi in their body or their channel flow, all the energy, those kind of stuff. Okay, and they tell me they are really successful in handling their internal art and so forth. Well, when I tell them that they are actually traveling in a wrong directions, they will tell me that I am jump into conclusions, I don't know them, and the conversation will stop there or go sour, or then they will say I'm really rude to them and so forth. Well, the truth is, in the internal Qigong practice or internal art practice, disregard of it is Wing Chun, Tai Chi or anything or Qigong, as soon as it's internal art from China, there are three criteria which is one can use to see or to observe, to see whether one is actually practice the internal art properly or not, or one have the basic or not. Okay. This thing is like a science. It has its content or its reference there. It's not up for anybody to translate or to claim their success and those kind of stuff. Okay. So if one really study with a teacher who really know the internal art or Qigong, they have to go through these three criteria. As for those who watch some video or read some book or getting philosophical or spiritual or new age, they will not be able to know this. And thus, when they talk about the energy and this and that, you know that it is totally out of the picture. Okay, and it's not going to go anywhere, and in fact it might even doing damaging stuff. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you these three criteria, so here on you can judge for yourself what is the proper path, and you know at least the big picture, what is going on. Okay, and you know where you can get this material if you want to read it more, or if you are a researcher from the West, you know where to look for this information instead of just everybody speculate, but none have know what's going on. Okay. So before that, I like to share with you a few names there, which is you need to remember. Okay, these are the people, the expert, which is expert in the internal cultivations in the era before us. Okay, and all these people have already passed away, but they are still living in the 1950s. So this is the people which is one generations before us, which is you need to know if you want to study the internal art, the Qigong, healing and everything. Okay, as soon as it's from Chinese tradition, these people, this name, which is you want to know because you can read their writing and their teaching. Okay, now the first one is Mr. Nan Huaijing. Okay, the second one is Mr. Ma Li Tang. The third one is Mr. Zhou Qianchuan. The fourth one is Mr. Jiang Weiqiao. all of these people are accomplished internal art cultivator. So it cannot be that wrong if you follow their teaching. As for me, actually, I took the common denominator of all of them. That is my reference point, because I like to take common denominator instead of just believing in anybody. Okay. So let's start with this 3 criteria. The first criteria is about breathing, and diaphragm. Okay? Anybody who claim they train in qigong or internal art or in martial arts, internal martial art, as we know that the basic saying is externally train the tendon and bones, and internally train the breathing. So one must know the breathing and the diaphragm handling. Okay, as here in this writing of or teaching of the Jiang Weiqiao, Master Jiang Weiqiao, or Mr. Jiang Weiqiao, you see, he talked about the breathing, the diaphragm here, okay, breathing, and even talk about the area, which is in this area, how it need to sink down and so forth. Okay, so this is it talk about how beginner has to handle stuff, and what is the issue beginner will face, like this diaphragm and the area here need to be trained, otherwise it's not going to breathe properly, smoothly, and it takes time to develop. Okay, so the first criteria is anybody who talk about qigong, internal art, whatever, of Wing Chun, if they cannot or they do not talk about the breathing handling and the diaphragm handling, you know they don't know internal arts. Okay, it's not by me, it's by the standard of the expert in the internal of the China. Okay, the second criteria is one must know the channel and its directions. The channel and its directions, okay, and its relationship with the breathing. This is the second criteria. If people claim they practice qigong and internal art, if they don't understand this, or they never talk about this, or they never train on this, of course, if they never don't know about it, they never learn it, they never train it, they don't know. Okay, and this writing is from the writing of Mr. Ma Litang. He tells you directly, if you don't understand the channel, then forget about talking about qigong. Okay, and over here he talk about the breathing, how the yin raise, and the exhale, how the yang sing. Okay, so this is the second criteria. The second criteria is about the channel and how it the directions of the energy flow and how it related to the breathing. Okay, now the third one is talking about how to deal with different kinds of action in the body. And so to cut it short, an internal or a qigong or the channel energy handling or practice is as what it say here. Okay. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Okay. Now, today, everybody, if you talk to the people who claim that they are having qigong, they'll tell you a whole bunch of qi stuff, and then somebody even talk to you about the sea light and all whole bunch of stuff. Okay. Instead of this, chop wood, carry water, people are having all kinds of energy, channel, light, and whole bunch of stuff. Okay. And as this is the writing of Mr. Zhou Qianchuan, he said that you need to ignore everything, like you are not seeing anything, okay? Because all these things is your physiology, your psychology, and so forth. And the job of the guy who practices internal art or qigong is to ignore them, okay? Instead of going jumping around with them and taking the sensations in the body or the psychology reactions of the body or seeing light, those kind of things as an achievement or accomplishment or success, actually there is traveling a wrong path. Okay. So all the people who told me that they are successful in their qigong or internal art of or the reverse breathing or whatever, telling me this, okay, as is written in black in black and white here, that whatever these things is trouble, is a wrong path, but they are using this, telling me this, to show how accomplished they are in their qigong. Where in here it said number 6, you need to understand what's going on and you need to ignore, okay? Because your job in practice qigong is actually before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, okay? So you need to settle your mind down and settle the whole mental or mind element and let all these things pass instead of you go chasing around all the sensations or energy or whatever, okay, which is causing this. So this is the proper way and this is the trouble. And again I said, people telling me this and expect me to agree with them and saying that they are accomplished person, while they don't understand this is exactly the trouble. And they have no idea on the first criteria on the diaphragm handling, and then they have no idea on the channel and the directions and the breathing relationship, and they have no idea on the third criteria on the practice is actually just settle there and ignore all these things, okay? So this is the 3 criteria of qigong. So anybody talk about qigong, they need to know this. If they don't know this 3 criteria, forget about it, okay? They won't go anywhere unless if they damage themselves, in fact. So they will not have any attainment, accomplishment in qigong or internal art, but they have a good chance to damage themselves or even create problem for themselves mentally or psychologically or physiologically, because they're violating the practice, okay? They're violating these 3 criteria. Now, let me show you more. As for here, this is like the Yellow Emperor Classic And all these books is the books one need to study if one's serious about studying Qigong and so forth. Okay, this is the thing which is usually the master of this art study. Okay, and this is the writing of the Ma Li Tang, Mr. Ma Li Tang. Okay, so we know what to look for. Okay, and we talk about the diaphragm and the breathing. Okay, this is the writing of the teaching of the Mr. Nan Huaijing. This is diaphragm. This is breathing. This is from Ma Li Tang, diaphragm and breathing, and it go even in the modern and how many milliliter of the breathing and so forth. Okay, and then here again it talk about Yellow Emperor Classic. Okay, so all this relate together, and people actually have a formal training in this stuff. Okay, on the first criteria. Okay, and again, this is for the first criteria. Okay, people study the Buddhist scripture here. This is from Tian Tai, okay, from Zhizhi Dashi, and this is talk about the Tian Tai Zhizhi Dashi. Okay, so this is from Ma Li Tang, Mr. Ma Li Tang. This is from Nan Huaijing, Mr. Nan Huaijing. Okay, you see, there's common denominator there. Okay. And then it talk about this thing. This is very important. This is called 心喜相依, meaning that the mind and the breathing become one. Okay, or they're synchronized. Okay, and here you see the same thing. This is from Jiang Weiqiao, Mr. Jiang Weiqiao. Also, we talk about the mind and breathing synchronized. Okay, so you can see all this common denominator. If people claim they study Qigong, they know Qigong, they practice, they're successful, they have to know this first criteria, and they need to know all this content. Otherwise, how is one going to study this Qigong? And of course here too, like Mr. Zhou Qianchuan, he mentioned also the Yellow Emperor Classic, the Meijing. Okay, so you can see this thing. This thing is how it is. Okay. Now, as for number 2 criteria on the channel flow and the breathing and the directions, this is the writing from Ma Li Tang. It talk about the heel breathing. Okay, heel breathing, meaning that the breathing is the full body. It go as deep as one's heel, meaning the whole body. Okay. And then he talk about how to use intention to lead the channel, the qi in the channel flow. And then he talk about like Tai Chi, Bagua, Xing Yi, all use this type of the heel breathing. Okay. And then again, here's a Yellow Emperor Classic, the heel breathing. So the criteria to one need to know the channel flow, the directions of the flow, the breathing relationship. It is there, okay? For martial art, for internal art, it has to be here. And as you see here, it is even that it talk about how the body weight have to shift to the heel while it is exhale, and then how the channel breathing has to accord to the direction and so forth. So all these things are technology. One need to know this. This is the second criteria, okay? And this is supposed to be second criteria. Okay, let me do this away. This is a second criteria. Another thing on second criteria is this. Like the other day, we talked about the this tendon and muscle group at the back here, which need to be developed when I'm talking about the air squat and so forth. You see, this is Mr. Nan Huaijing's writing. It tells you how does the channel flow from the top to the legs is important, and the people who practice martial arts, how is this tendon muscle group is very critical, okay? And as we know that the saying of externally trained tendon, muscle and bones, okay, and how you have to train it so that it's soft, okay. And here it said, those who practice martial arts practice the tendon, muscle, and the bone, okay. It is here, okay, under criteria 2, okay. Now, okay, so this is criteria 3. It tells you, okay, this is Mr. Nan Huaijing writing and teaching. He said that this is your own psychology, creations of your psychology or your mental, okay? And you thought that there's a chi, but there's not really chi there, okay? And over here is talk about, okay, if your mind cannot focus and actually settle and so forth, you want to have the chi channel to be flow and so forth. That is impossible. Okay. So people know about this thing. Okay. So all these 3 criteria, everybody know about it. Okay. If they really practice internal art, if they never have a real formal training in internal art, for sure they will never understand this thing. And this is the first time actually in the West, as we understand, that these 3 criteria is revealed. Okay, and all this evidence I show you from all this 4 experts of China, all this evidence. Okay, and this is the criteria. So, okay, let me show you something about Yellow Emperor Classic. Okay, this is Yellow Emperor Classic, and in these chapters, you talk about the mind and how to handle the chi, the breathing, and then this is for the kidney sickness, healing, those things. Okay, and this is from Zhou Qianchuan. Mr. Zhou Qianchuan, when he lectured on the Yellow Emperor Classic, and it say here, okay, one must not using intention to or forcefully or anything to actually send the breathing down to Dantian. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, I tell you this. Okay, and everything has to be nature. Okay. It is not using your intentions, those kind of things. Like in Wing Chun, sometimes we say, you need to use the mind power, okay? You use intention, those kind of things. Those are screw up stuff, okay? If you one need to read this kind of stuff, okay, from the expert instead of interpret oneself on whatever one wants, okay? And bottom line, nobody attain anything, accomplish anything, but everybody speculate. What one doesn't know is that those speculations is going to screw other people if other people practice it, okay? So in the ancient, it's just like, I have met teachers who tell me to shut up if we really never accomplish anything, okay? It's just like, for example, if you never taste an apple, don't talk about the taste of the apple, okay? It's only going to mislead people. Now, this is another one of the Yellow Emperor Classic. It talk about pain, okay, and it talk about how the body pain, and then here it talk about if the chi is not flowing, then you will feel pain, and if the If the chi is flow, then it's not pain. So all kinds of sensations and is understood. That's why at this point, at the third criteria here, okay, one know what's going on with the sensations, or like here it say that there's a heat, there's cold, or there's numbness, or there's some vibration. One know what's going on because one have the background on this type of training, okay, a formal training. So without all this thing, how is one supposed to train internal art? Okay, one practically can. So it is really ridiculous if somebody will claim that they accomplished this and that, but they know nothing about these three criteria and never have been trained. And remember, these three criteria I share with you is only the criteria. They are process to handle these three criteria or to develop it. It's just like a process to build an iPhone. Okay, that's a process. If one doesn't know these three criteria, how is one supposed to know the process? The guy who knows the process will know the three criteria and know the process, and then they can start training. That's why they can repeat the result. Otherwise, it's hopeless. Okay? Okay. So, the book I wrote on textbook, the 613.3, is actually the common denominator on all those things which I told you, I share with you today, including I share with you on this momentum and forceful and so forth. The reason I write this is I intend it to be a textbook, like in the West. Okay, if I don't do this common denominator stuff, and as well I show you all this document and this article here and or in the other YouTube. How am I supposed to expect a Westerner to understand this and go read this thing? Even Chinese today don't read this kind of stuff anymore, mostly. Okay. And I spent decades to dig all this thing out to get the common denominator, so that we have a solid understanding of what's going on, okay? Instead of, oh yeah, I'm grandmaster, I can say whatever I want or interpret what I want, and the whole thing is totally screwed up, and actually it's a fantasy, nobody get nowhere, but it just talk, okay? And the one which is really sad is, there are a lot of people who is sick who believe in Qigong to heal their body, like people who have diseases and so forth, okay? And if we mislead those people, you know, that's very sinful, okay? That's very irresponsible to claim that one is Qigong master and this and that, and people believe on you because they need a hope, okay? Instead of us helping them, we screw them, tell them a wrong stuff, which is we never even know what the heck's going on. Okay, so this is for you today. I hope that these three criteria you can study it, and those who want to study the real Qigong know where to find the document, the Chinese document. They can translate later on. So I hope that at every generation, Wing Chun improve. Okay. Whatever I show today in these three criteria might be a lot for you guys, but guess what? If this become a really basic education, 20 years from today, all Wing Chunner will look at this like, hey, come on, this is a kindergarten stuff, okay? And we actually want it to be like that. If they are not progress, they are not better than me. I'm not enjoy if somebody 20 or 50 years later make movie, Hendrik Santo 1, Hendrik Santo 2, okay? Forget about it, okay? If somebody make those kind of movie, Grandmaster Hendrik Santo 1 or 2 or 3, you know, that means I don't do my job, My job is to help people so that next generations is better than us. Okay, my job is not try to be a grandmaster. And again, I want to tell everybody, I am not a grandmaster. I like to be a high school teacher. So if I can teach good high school kid, I'm happy. Okay. So this is for you today.